Welcome. This is the final film of the Activate Your Life course. Activate Your Life, Act 4. Living wisely, living well. The key issues to be explored in this film are values and commitment. Your personal values relate to the things that are important to you, the things you really care about. But do you know what your values are? How can you discover what you value? And how can you make sure that your actions and your lifestyle are in tune with your values? Making a commitment to act in accordance with your values and then keeping to that commitment is the best way to feel that your life is on track, that you're doing the right thing, that you're doing the best that you can do. These are the issues that we'll be addressing in this final film. You may recall the passengers on the bus story from Act 2. Well, here's that bus again. It's your bus. You are the driver. Now the question is, where do you want to take your bus? Where do you want to go with your life? Most bus journeys have a set destination. But life isn't about getting somewhere. It's about the journey itself. Nevertheless, it's good to have a clear direction for your journey. Some bus drivers seem to drive around with no clear idea of where they're going. I'm just not going anywhere in my life. And some appear to be going around in circles. I never get anywhere, I just keep coming back to the same old place. But some drivers seem to know exactly where they want to go. Their journey has a clear direction. Having a clear direction in life, setting your compass, makes life more meaningful and more fulfilling. The journey in your chosen direction may not be smooth. You can expect a number of hazards and various hold-ups on the road. Various life events may divert you from your chosen route, and you may even lose your way completely for a while before getting back on track. Other people may try to steer you away from your chosen direction of travel. But don't let other people or your own mind dictate what you must, should, or ought to do. It's your journey. It's your life. The best direction for your journey is in line with your personal values. The things you care about, the things that really matter to you, the things that give your life meaning. But it's not always easy to know what our values are, to recognize what we really care about. If we ask someone directly, what are your values? They'd probably just look at us oddly and shrug their shoulders.
To identify your own values and to choose your values, you need to be guided by your feelings. When something feels just right, that indicates one of your values. And when something feels wrong, that also indicates one of your values. The stronger your values, the more deeply you care about things. If you didn't value anything, nothing would make you happy. Nothing would make you sad. And nothing would make you angry. Whenever you are angry, your anger reflects something that you care about. So that points to one of your values. Thus, if you say, I get angry when my children make a mess, this shows that you value tidiness or order. If you feel pleased with yourself because you arrived early, this indicates that you value punctuality. And if you say with pride, I spent hours weeding the garden, that suggests that you value working hard. So think about these questions. What gives you a warm feeling and why? What really irritates you and why? What makes you feel proud and why? What makes you feel sad and why. You can also use various thought experiments to help you identify your values. One of these is, they're talking about me. Imagine you phone a friend, but that due to a technical problem, you can hear your friend talking to somebody else who knows you very well. And you soon realise that they are talking about you. Of course, you're very interested in what they have to say about you, so you continue listening. What would you most like to hear them say about you? The things that you would most like to hear will reflect your values. So, if you'd love to hear one of them say, "Sam is always ready to help anyone," this shows that you place a high value on generosity or kindness. And if you'd like to hear one of them say, "Sam is always so enthusiastic about things," this suggests that you would like to be seen as enthusiastic, indicating that enthusiasm is one of your key values. And if you'd like to hear a friend say, "Sam always sees the glass as half full," this would show that you value optimism and positivity.
Another useful way of identifying your values involves recognising any strong feelings you have about people you know. There will be some people you really like, and knowing why you like them will help you identify one of your values. But you may really dislike some people, and knowing why you dislike them will also point to one of your values. So, as a brief activity, think of someone, maybe a friend, a relative or a neighbour, about whom you have positive feelings, such as feelings of liking, respect or admiration. And now think why you have such positive feelings towards them. What is it about them that you really like, respect or admire? The answer to this question is likely to identify one of your key values. And now think about someone about whom you have negative feelings. So feelings of dislike maybe, or anger or disrespect. Why do you have negative feelings about this person? And what value does this relate to? If you become aware of a strong feeling towards a real or fictional character when you're watching TV or a film, use this as an opportunity to identify one of your values. Ask yourself, why do I really like this person? Or, why do I detest this person? So being aware of how we feel towards certain people, including ourselves, and recognising why we feel that way can help us to identify our values. And identifying our values can then enable us to work out how we can best live in line with those values.
We generally experience life as more satisfying and more meaningful when our lifestyle reflects our values, the things we really care about. This applies to every aspect of our life, including our relationships, our work, hobbies, and even the programs we watch on TV. And when you're about to make key changes in your life, it's good to consider these with respect to your values. That can help you to make the best decision regarding which direction to take. When you do something in line with your key values, it'll generally feel the right thing to do, although it might also feel tough and demanding. Your values will often trigger painful emotions. For example, if one of your key values is kindness, then hearing about acts of cruelty may make you sad or angry. But feeling angry about cruelty might energize you to do something to end that cruelty. People's values are often reflected in the charities they support and in the political parties they vote for. Values-driven actions often call for courage. The person may have to go the extra mile. Josh was very angry when his boss made an unpleasant remark to Emma. So although he knew he was risking his job, he told the boss that he was out of order and should apologise to Emma. Darren felt so strongly about how his mother had been treated that he overcame his strong fear of people in authority, and he told the staff exactly what they should do to help his mother. In each of these cases, the person's strongly held values have led them to go the extra mile, to go beyond their comfort zone, to do something out of character. In such cases, the person feels, I have to do this because it's the right thing to do. Doing what you have to do, especially if it takes courage on your part, may well help you to realise what your life is all about. Doing what is right for you means living in line with your personal values.
Commitment. To lead a truly fulfilling life, your actions need to reflect your values. You need to do what is right for you. But this is not always easy. Things may get in the way. When you have decided on the best thing to do, you need to make a commitment to do the best thing, even if it is very difficult and even if it hurts. If you have committed yourself to do something that will be very difficult or uncomfortable, you may just have to go for it. Grasp the nettle. Take the bull by the horns. Make it happen. Here's one example: quitting smoking. Suppose that one of Mark's important values is healthiness. To respect his own values, Mark would need to lead a healthy life. But what if he smokes? For his actions to reflect his values, Mark will need to stop smoking. But that will not be easy. He will have to deal with the discomfort caused by his physical craving for nicotine. What is needed here? Acceptance of the craving sensations and commitment to give up smoking. There are no two ways about it. If Mark really accepts the craving sensations, and if his commitment remains strong enough, then he will quit smoking. And there is often an acceptance bonus. When a smoker accepts the craving sensations and remains fully committed to quitting, and therefore doesn't smoke, the craving will gradually subside. After not smoking for several days or weeks, the discomfort will decrease. On the other hand, continuing to smoke will certainly maintain the strength of the craving for nicotine. A similar bonus effect also occurs as a result of other types of committed action. If you accept discomfort or distress and keep to your commitment, this will often lead to a reduction in the fear, urge, embarrassment, or craving. For example, Jo always feels very nervous about catching a bus if she's on her own. But if Jo accepts her anxiety and commits to catching a bus whenever she needs to, her anxiety will steadily decrease, and she will gradually feel more comfortable about getting on a bus, even when she's alone. So, doing what is best is often particularly difficult at first, but then gets easier as time goes on.
Patterns of commitment. People often make a commitment and then break it. What's the best thing to do when this happens? For example, someone who's been on a diet to lose weight may have a moment of weakness and tuck into a few donuts or eat a pile of chips. If this happens, they may decide that their attempt at dieting has totally failed and give up dieting completely. Or, similarly, someone who is quitting smoking may have a single cigarette and then decide that their attempt to quit has failed and they are now back smoking again. And this will then give them a great excuse to go out and buy a large pack of cigarettes. So very often, when someone makes a commitment and then they break that commitment, they will then give up the commitment. And they may even go further and give up making any commitment. Especially if their mind tells them, oh, well, that proves it, you just haven't got any willpower. And they believe it. If you make a commitment and then break it, the best thing to do is remake the commitment. And you may need to remake it again and again and again. Very few people who eventually give up smoking or stop using drugs or put an end to their compulsive gambling are successful the first time they try. For example, on average, smokers manage to quit on their 5th or 6th attempt. It's not easy.
How do people respond to a setback? Sometimes a disappointment can set us back a long way. Rather than accepting a setback and carrying on to do what's best, we may simply give up. Suppose that Alex and Sam are both trying to lose weight. Both have been eating healthily and taking more exercise than usual. After 2 weeks of making such efforts, they step onto the weigh scales. When Alex and Sam weigh themselves, they are both disappointed. Despite their efforts, they've lost very little weight. Alex says, "This isn't working, it's no good. I might as well give up now." But Sam says, "Disappointing. I clearly need to carry on and try harder." So Alex and Sam have responded to their failure to lose weight in opposite ways. Although they experienced the same emotional reaction, disappointment, they chose to respond in different ways. Alex chose to respond to the disappointment by giving up, but Sam chose to respond to the disappointment by increasing the effort to lose weight. We can't choose our emotional reaction, but we can choose the action we take. Our response following a setback should be based on a realistic and mindful judgment of the situation. Is it best to carry on and try again? Or does it make more sense to stop? The wise thing to do is to consider the various options and to think about them carefully. The kinds of setback that people often experience during their lifetime include disappointing progress at school, failure to lose weight, difficulty establishing a close relationship, an unwanted end to a close relationship, failure to be accepted for a course or a job, and financial difficulties and losses. At times, you may be aware that your mind is trying to undermine you by telling you, "You'll never do it. It'll never work out. You might as well give up now." Recognizing your mind's negativism may encourage you to make a firm commitment to do your very best to succeed.
Living in line with our values often involves changing the way we act, and this may not be easy. We have strong habits, and some of these may hold us back when we try to do things in a different way. Our habits and familiar routines are generally within our comfort zone, and stepping outside that comfort zone to do something new or different may feel scary, so we often just carry on as normal. But if we stay within our safe zone, we will never broaden the range of things we do, and as a result, we may miss out on many opportunities to make our life more interesting and more fulfilling. So we have a choice: to just do what feels comfortable, or to explore new possibilities, to be adventurous, to be up for a challenge, to be brave, and even to be a daredevil. If you do decide to do something new and challenging, your mind will probably try to undermine you and warn you off. You'll never be able to do it. It's pointless, don't even bother. You'll make a fool of yourself. But now that you have become wise to your mind, you can appreciate that you don't have to believe your mind, and you don't have to obey your mind. you understand that your mind often lets you down and can cause you much grief. Until now, your mind may have had too strong an influence over you, and you may well have suffered as a result. So now is a good time to tell your mind, enough is enough, I'll be taking over from now on. That's your declaration of independence. It's your commitment to take over the reins, to step into the driving seat, to pull your own strings. When you take over control, your mind will still babble on in the background, judging, criticising, trying to undermine you. But you can just notice this and carry on doing what you have decided is best. Make a wise decision about the best thing to do, and then do that best thing. Don't do something just because this is what I've always done. It's the easy option. It's what my mind is telling me to do. Taking control of your actions will give you much more flexibility. When you think carefully about what to do and then commit yourself to doing that thing, you move from mindless to mindful action, from simply reacting to responding. When we have an instant, automatic, mindless reaction, we don't consider possible alternative actions, and we don't make any choice. But a mindful response involves considering different possible actions, which is why it increases flexibility. Greater flexibility will open up new opportunities for your life to be more interesting, more exciting, more meaningful, and more fulfilling. And you will suffer less.
The Activate Your Life course has shown you a different way of understanding yourself and your mind. And it has helped you to develop a number of skills that will allow you to live your life in a different way. The key ingredients of this new approach are acceptance and commitment. Accept what you cannot change or fix, and make a firm commitment to act in accordance with your own personal values. These strategies can free you from oppression by your own mind, and this liberation will give you much greater flexibility. With greater flexibility, you'll be less inhibited, and your actions won't be limited to what feels easy, natural, or comfortable. So increased flexibility will give you a wider choice of activities, and you'll be less constrained. Greater flexibility will enable you to do more of the things that really matter to you, and the threat of discomfort or embarrassment won't hold you back from doing the right thing. One way to increase your flexibility is to deliberately do things that are new, different, adventurous, daring, brave, and not you. And may sometimes even be a little shocking or crazy. So you may gain a lot from loosening up and losing some inhibitions. And if your cautious, critical, scoffing mind tries to hold you back, carry on regardless. You can't do that. Just watch me. It'll end in disaster. Here goes. So, what has been holding you back from doing things that are novel or different? Fear of danger? Be wise. What's the risk? Fear of failure? Be wise. So what? Fear of embarrassment? That is often the major issue. I'd be so embarrassed. I would feel that small. I'd want to crawl into a shell. I want the ground to swallow me up. Be willing to accept these feelings. So sometimes it's perfectly okay to feel the embarrassment and do it anyway.
Increasing our flexibility. Many of our actions are routine. We just stick to our usual pattern without exploring other options or giving it much thought. And this limits our freedom and our flexibility. But there are things that we can do to significantly increase our flexibility. One way of doing this is to focus on something that you often do as a routine, mindlessly and automatically, and then to deliberately do it in a different way. For example, if you always drink from the same cup at home, or sit in the same chair to watch TV, or you always walk the same route to the shop, deliberately change your routine just to be different. Disturbing your routine in this way will increase your flexibility. Another way of increasing your flexibility is to think of something that you've always wanted to do, but haven't ever done, because maybe of possible failure, or embarrassment, or discomfort. And then make a commitment to do that thing very soon. And another way of increasing your flexibility is to do something really adventurous, something that really pushes the limits. Being brave and doing something really challenging can dramatically expand your comfort zone and open up many new possibilities for personal change and development. And remember, the point of increasing your psychological flexibility is not just to allow you to do some new activities or to encourage you to do certain things in a different way. It's about you recognizing that there are many more things that you could do and many different ways of doing what you normally do. Recognizing the vast potential scope for your actions will help you to appreciate the true extent of your freedom. To a large extent, we can choose the kind of person we are. And this is because our actions, the things we do, make us who we are. And we are largely free to choose our actions. So what you choose to do plays a major part in shaping who you are. For example, if you want to be a vegan, don't eat meat or use animal products. It's your choice. If you want to be a bird watcher, spend some time watching birds. It's your choice. And if you want to be a non-smoker, don't smoke cigarettes. If you don't want to be a thief, don't steal things. And if you want to be a kind person, be kind to people. It's your choice. But of course, there are limits to this. Some things we can choose and some we can't. For example, we can't simply choose to be a happy person, or to be patient, or popular, or well paid. These things don't just depend on what we do, they also depend on other factors, including our genes, other people, and luck.
This is your life, your one life. This is not a rehearsal. And it's up to you, within realistic limits, to choose how you are going to live your life. By accepting the painful and distressing aspects of your life that can't be changed, and committing yourself to doing the things that reflect your own values, you will be able to make your life better. When you apply the knowledge and skills that Activate Your Life has introduced, your suffering will decrease. The difficult aspects of your life, the things that cause you grief, won't have disappeared, but you will now be able to respond to these differently. When you live more in the present moment, your mind will have less influence over you, and as a result, you will suffer less. Taking conscious control over what you do will give you greater flexibility. Your actions will be wiser. You will live more in line with your values. The best way to respond to life's challenges and opportunities involves acceptance and commitment. Accept what you cannot change and make a firm commitment to live in accordance with your chosen values. This is the wise way to live. Change what you can change, accept what you cannot change, and have the wisdom to know the difference.
For each of the 4 films that make up the Activate Your Life course, We suggest a number of extra activities that you can do in your own time. Instructions for all these activities are included in the activity pack that you can download from the website. For now, I'll introduce some of the extra activities related to topics that we've covered in this final film in the series. First, discovering your own values. This is what we call a thought experiment. Imagine phoning a friend and hearing your friend talking about you to someone else who knows you very well. What would you most like to hear them say about you? The things you'd most like to hear will reflect your values. Incidentally, the things you would least like to hear people say about you are equally useful when it comes to discovering your values. For example, I'd hate someone to think of me as insensitive, so that indicates that one of my key values is being sensitive. Being able to identify your values is very important if you want to work out what kinds of things you can do to live by your values. And living in line with your values is in fact the focus of the next extra activity. Having identified some of your key personal values, choose one of these and work out 4 things that you can do. Regular activities that you can build into your lifestyle that will enable you to live in line with this personal value. The next extra activity focuses on increasing flexibility, and we suggest 3 things that you can do to loosen up and become more flexible. First idea simply involves taking conscious control over some things you would normally do on autopilot and choosing to do them in a different way. For example, sit in a different chair to watch TV. Buy a different newspaper for a change. Go to a different coffee shop or pub just to be different. The next idea is more ambitious and involves you stepping beyond your comfort zone. Think of 3 things you would like to do but have avoided doing up to now because they might make you feel embarrassed or anxious. And then be brave. Go ahead. Accept any uncomfortable feelings and do those things that you've always wanted to do. The third way of increasing your psychological flexibility is certainly the most challenging, but if you are brave enough to do it, it could really help you to overcome any tendency to be held back by an exaggerated fear of embarrassment. The idea is to do something that is way out of your comfort zone, something out of character, even outrageous. Now, nothing dangerous or illegal, but something really odd, such as wearing a weird t-shirt or a stupid hat out in public. Now, this is probably best done in a town where you don't know anyone. The point is to deliberately put yourself in a situation where you feel very uncomfortable, but in which you accept feeling anxious, self-conscious, and embarrassed. If you do manage to do this, you will learn that the unthinkable really isn't that bad. The sky won't fall in on you. This activity is absolutely optional. If you're not ready to try it yet, then maybe, just maybe, you will feel ready at some time in the future. And if you are ever brave enough to try it, it could give you a real sense of achievement and greatly increase your flexibility. The final extra activity is labelled 3 commitments. Think of 3 things you can do, changes you can make to help you have a better life. These should be changes in actions, so they're going to be things you will do differently. Don't be vague. Make commitments for actions that are clear and practical. So not, oh, I'll be more careful with money, or I'll try to be kinder to my mother. Be specific. Spell it out. What will you do that's different? So take time to plan. 3 solid commitments. Concrete changes in your actions that are likely to make life better for you and for the people you care about. And if you break one of these commitments, don't think, I failed or I haven't got any willpower and give up. If you break a commitment, make it again. So make the extra commitment not to give up on your commitments.
Mindful activities. Throughout the course, we've been encouraging you to practice various mindfulness activities regularly so that you spend more time focused in the moment, noticing what is going on right here and right now. The benefits of such regular mindfulness practice are well established. There's very strong evidence that it can really help. We have practiced some mindfulness activities together as part of the filmed sessions, and others have been suggested as activities that you can practice in your own time. Here are 3 more mindfulness activities for you to practice on your own: mindful showering, full body scan, and mindful nature focus. First, mindful showering. When you take a shower, notice the sensations as the water splashes on your skin, the temperature of the water, the sounds as the water cascades, and the smell and feel of the soap or shower gel in the shampoo. The second suggested mindfulness activity is a mindful full body scan. Rest quietly and direct your attention to different parts of your body in turn, noticing all of the sensations in each part. Stay still, take your time, and gradually shift the focus of your attention to different parts of your body in any systematic order. For example, start by paying attention to every sensation in your toes and feet before moving the focus to your legs and then moving up through the body until you eventually reach your shoulders, neck, and head. The slow process of gradually focusing your attention on every sensation coming from every part of your body will take some time, maybe up to 30 minutes. A full body scan is one of several recordings of guided mindfulness activities that you can listen to or download from the Activate Your Life website. The third and final mindfulness activity that we're adding this time is a mindful nature focus. In a green space, a garden, park or forest, open yourself up to all aspects of the natural environment. Notice everything with all of your senses. See what there is to see. Listen to every sound. Tune into any smells in that green environment. Sense the temperature and feel any movement in the air.
As we come towards the end of this final session, we'd like to share some live mindfulness activities with you now. This time, there are 3 brief activities, 2 short movies and a colour change. All you have to do, of course, is just to watch the screen and notice what's happening. That's all. So now we're at the end of the course, Activate Your Life. We sincerely hope that you found it interesting and thought-provoking, and that it's given you some clear ideas about how you can take greater control of your life. We also hope that you'll continue to benefit by carrying on practicing acceptance and mindfulness activities, and using the information in the course activity pack to remind you of the key messages from the course. You can also watch some or all of the films again. The activity pack includes details of a number of books and websites that will be useful if you want to learn more about ACT or about mindfulness. And you may wish to look out for local or online courses on mindfulness and other topics. If you know anyone, a friend or a family member perhaps, who you think might benefit from this course, do please point them in the direction of the website. And finally, our message is this. Remember that you really do have the power to change things so that you experience less distress. Exercise your freedom to do more of the things that you want to do and enjoy a more compassionate, satisfying and fulfilling lifestyle. Very best wishes for the future.